Hi everybody and welcome to the RuneScape weekly Q&A. You may notice that I am not Shawnee. I'm JD, Shawnee's on holiday this week, so I have taken on his mantle and I will be presenting today. Think of me as the substitute teacher and these guys are the unruly pupils for the day. As you might have seen, we have some new faces on the sofa, or a new face on the sofa this week, and a couple of familiar faces. So I'm going to start by introducing Mod Dawn.
Hello.
Who is one of our German localization team. I think actually the first member of the localization team ever to come onto a RuneScape live stream.
Yeah, I think so.
So we wanted to try and introduce a few new people onto the live streams and show you guys that there is a lot else that goes into how we make the game. And I wondered if you could give a little kind of rundown as to a day in your life, Dawn.
Yeah, well, day in the life is a bit difficult because every day is different. It depends on whatever the developers are working on. It also depends on other teams like the web team. So we translate into German, French, and Brazilian Portuguese. Basically, one person, each team picks up a project, translates it, and another person goes through it. So basically testing in the game or editing like a news post, and then it goes live.
And you do everything from updates to month ahead videos, news posts, everything kind of runs through the localization pipeline.
Exactly. Like, I think the only exception is like those kind of streams, but apart from that we do almost everything.
And what is the best part about being a localization?
For me as a player, because I've been playing for over 10 years now, it's cool to see how things are working behind the scenes. And have like an insight about all the things we're working on. We obviously can't talk about sometimes. Yeah. It's really cool.
And you're actually, we have internal high scores at Jagex for people's RuneScape accounts.
Yeah.
I looked before we came on the stream. I think you're number 7 at the moment.
I think so. Yeah.
So there are you are kind of one of the, you are maxed as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you're one of the kind of the big RuneScape players in the team. So hoping that we're going to be able to get some good insight from you over the course of the next kind of 45 minutes to an hour or so.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Cool. So yeah, the other guys on the sofa today, a little bit more familiar faces. Mod Stu, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Happy to have you on the live stream, and Mod Raven, who is a very familiar face.
Hello.
So a few things before we start into the Q&A session. So a lot of people have been asking about the RuneScape survey. The plan is to release the RuneScape 2019 content survey this Friday. So you guys can have your say on everything that we want to do in the next few months. And as I say, that should be coming out on Friday. Hopefully the month ahead with it as well. We have had a couple of hiccups today due to absence and illness in the team. So we're hoping to get that out by the end of the week. If not, we will let you know ahead of time. But the survey should be going live regardless, if that goes live or not. So September raffle as well kicks off on Sunday. I believe that's the first of the month.
Yeah.
I think it's the first of the month. Have I got my dates right? Yeah. So that goes live on Sunday. So don't forget that the first raffle will be going live on Sunday rather than next Monday. So just make yourself aware of that. Loads of prizes on offer. I'm going to be chucking in a few tickets myself this year. And then the RuneFest schedule as well. A few questions we've had about the RuneFest schedule. I've worked on 6 RuneFests now, I think. Something like that. And I've seen what the keynote looks like for RuneScape this year. And I would go as far as say it was the best keynote that I've seen in recent history.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I can say.
No, don't say anything.
It's looking good.
I've not seen it, so I have no information, sorry.
No, but you might find that some of these answers to the questions that you are asking today will be, you can find out more at RuneFest. We're not being deliberately obtuse. Unfortunately, there are things that we can and can't say about things. We want things to be as exciting as possible for you guys when we announce them. And it's likely that there will be content that comes very soon after RuneFest as well. So I'm really excited. I can't wait. I love RuneFest, one of the best times of the year. Obviously, you can see me repping my shirt, and I can't wait for you guys to see what it's all about. We'll be releasing the schedule some point next week, so you can see what kinds of things we'll be doing. And the plan is this year to be streaming the panel stage as well, which I know is always a big bugbear for those people who haven't been able to see it before, aren't able to come to the event. So we will be streaming the panel stage this year as well. Again, a really strong lineup on that stage. I know, Raven, you'll be part of one of the sessions, leading one of the sessions as well.
There'll be the law corner as always, obviously the best of the panel sessions.
I mean, it's a good one. I'm not going to put my cards on the table yet because you haven't seen the rest of them. But no, they are very, very good, and I cannot wait to release what they are next week. And then finally, the Twitch Prime package is still available on Twitch Prime. If you click the crown in the top corner of your Twitch window, you should be able to get the currency pack, a currency pack which has 200 rune coins, 15 keys, and 40 hearts of ice in there. And one of the things that we always encourage you to do is if you have Twitch Prime, it doesn't matter if you've got the loot or not, use your free sub on a RuneScape streamer. Give them a little bit of support. Show your support by giving them your free monthly Prime sub. Thank you very much. And on the screen now you can see that Mod John has just put that up there. So yes, just click the crown on the top part of your Twitch window, and you should be able to get it from there. And there is one thing that I wanted to address quickly before we get into the main body of the questions, and it's been spammed in the chat quite a lot. Obviously, over the last week or so, there have been a couple of departures from Jagex. I can't go into details about the actual departures themselves, but we are a company of about 400 people, and these kinds of things sometimes do happen. As much as it's not a nice situation to be in some of the time, and we never want to see people leave Jagex, sometimes it does happen, and it's a coincidence that it's happened twice in the space of a week. It won't impact things like development moving forward, and we are in a position where we would like to be able to, again, backfill those roles and make sure that we can bring in people who are, let's say, bringing mobile to the table, for instance, because I know that Mod Edge, for instance, was working on mobile. As I say, it won't impact the delivery data or anything like that, but we'd like to bolster those teams as much as we can. Yeah, moving forward, as I say, it's something we can't really discuss, but it does happen, and as I say, we can move forward from here. Cool. So I have a couple of icebreaker questions for you guys, and one of them was suggested by a person called Random Mrs. Throwaway, which I like the Reddit name. And if you were a goblin, what colour goblin mail would you wear? Blue, orange, or brown?
Can we assume
I know this
that
is
I've completed the Goblin Diplomacy quest?
This is a little bit of a trick question, yeah. But yeah, no, assume that you can actually wear it.
Probably blue. Blue.
Yeah? Stu?
Yeah, I think brown, that way I can skip right to the end of the quest.
Like that logic.
Purple, I'm going to be different.
Purple?
Stand out, I'm going to get mine and dip it into something. Different colour entirely. My own breed of goblin.
Standard Mod Raven going off-piste with the answer. And then just one more icebreaker question to get things lubricated nice and well. Let's say, what 3 items would you take to a desert island? Start with you, Mod Dawn.
Chocolate cake? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to survive.
In three slices, or
3 chocolate cakes? I don't know if I'm going to survive, so having a chocolate cake sounds like a cool thing. I don't know.
It's a good way to go.
Yeah. Stu?
Well, if it's a desert island, then going to need an enchanted water tiara, so I don't...
Against you with the logic. I mean...
Because we're going to assume that this desert island isn't in Menifos, so, completing the Cronda's quest isn't going to help. I guess, well, I'm obviously going to have to bring along a mobile device to play RuneScape Mobile, and probably about 300 miles of fibre optic cable so that I can set up some kind of a internet access, which that isn't really how it works, but still. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah. Raven? I can't wait for this answer.
A boat. Someone to row the boat, because I can't. And a book for the journey back, I think, we'll go with that.
What book would you go with?
Something interesting, I don't know. Something random.
Okay, cool. Okay, well that's the icebreaker questions this week.
Asking the important questions.
Yeah, asking the important questions. Okay, so last week we showed off some of the new player experience stuff that you've been working on, Stu. Seemed to get a fairly decent reaction. How did you feel it went?
Yeah, overall very positive. I answered a few questions on Reddit afterwards, but people generally were very positive about it. I've had a lot of communication with players through that process, getting the design put together initially and during the journey, particularly on Discord. So there isn't much there that would be a surprise to people who are deeply invested. One thing in particular that jumped out was quite a few people were asking for a teleport to where Turiel or Spreer, the Slayer Master, usually is. That's something that we had on our backlog, something we're already aware of. But given we've had quite a few more requests for it, I'm going to try to prioritize getting that out sooner. It's still going to be a post-release thing because that update is currently in an RC build and is currently being tested for later deployment. So it's too late to add in more features right now. But I'm working on doing that as a post-release fix in between fixing other issues.
Cool. And if anybody's got any suggestions for things that they would like to see or things that they have noticed that they might think would be a good addition, then where do they go? Where should they go to give you that feedback?
My Twitter, JackXStew, is a good choice. Also, particularly for the Berthorpe Taverley decluttering, there's a Berthorpe Taverley section on the RS Discord. Otherwise, posting on Reddit because I read that.
Cool. There were a couple of things about introducing new players to Slayer quite so early on in the process, given that it's a member skill. Feels like you're kind of giving something and then taking that away. You put a really good answer on Reddit, and I just wanted to kind of see if you can repeat it for the stream audience.
I explain myself a lot better in text, so I have a feeling that the stuff on Reddit is probably going to be the most eloquent answer, but I'll try to recall it. So basically, players already have in free-to-play access to all member skills up to level 5, so it's nothing there's going to be completely locked off. But also, although Turiel is the one who's introducing you to these skills, we only do Slayer in the final path of those introductory paths that we're adding. So Slayer is this kind of progression and reward layer on top of core combat, and the intention is to teach the core loops of those skills first. So we go through the process of how you prepare for combat, so that here's how you can find food in the world in the opening area, here's how you use your skills to cook it, here's how to make equipment that you would need to wear in order to defeat these enemies, and we give that information to you through the medium of this new centralized activity tracker that we're adding, which give you those objectives. So we don't need to do any Slayer tasks until the very end of it. So all this stuff can be done by free to play.
Fantastic. As I say, that's probably as eloquent as the Reddit thread, so well done. In terms of the changes that are coming, are you able to summarise sort of in a bullet point list what the kind of the highlights that players can expect?
Yeah, there is a lot, and the things that we're doing on desktop are just the tip of the iceberg. But a key thing is, as I say, the new activity tracker. So there's several different systems in the game currently that are used to point you towards content. So like your current active task, your Slayer tracker, the minigame or D&D you have tracked on the old active task window. The achievement tracker has its own tracker. So the activity tracker is a centralized space to put all that content together, so that if you're ever not sure what this breadcrumb trail is leading you to something in the world, this system is the one that you can have on your screen and turn the thing off if you want to, or to track something different. Your tracking of different skills and so forth, it's all in one centralized spot. We've also subtly reworked the prayer window. Behind the hood it's a complete rework, but player facing there's just like one extra button down the bottom. The whole buff bar has also been reworked. We've gone into detail about the exact changes there, but basically that's again a whole new system rework with some player-facing benefits. And we are decluttering the starting area after Tutorial Island where players land, which is Berthorpe and Taverley, splitting those into 2 more distinct spaces, getting rid of a lot of the clutter and visual noise, and a new tutorial for the first couple of hours of your gameplay after landing from Tutorial Island, which introduces you, as I say, to a lot of the core mechanics of the game and where to find the resources that you need to progress in the game, initially giving you a much more of a honest understanding of the gameplay.
Great. Will there be a question from the chat? Will there be any new achievements with these new systems?
Let's see. So in practice, this system uses achievements. So a path is a list of achievements. 99% of these achievements, although we've created a lot of new ones, they're entirely optional. They're hidden away on optional books for Berthorpe and Taverley, which above a level 250, you're not even going to be able to see those. They're just hidden away for new players and they aren't relevant to anybody else. One thing in particular that jumps out, though, is that in one of the Lumbridge paths, we've added a Master Quest requirement to Lumbridge Catacombs. So when you make the Mask of Dragath Nirn, that reward is now a cosmetic override, and there's a Master Quest requirement to assemble the Mask of Dragath Nirn. That's, as far as I can recall, the only mandatory, as it were, achievement that's on there.
Fantastic. Okay. Yeah, as we mentioned, if you have any other feedback for Stu or for anybody else, the VOD from last week is on YouTube. So if you want to check out and see what that looks like, but also there is a Discord channel for the Berthorpe and Tavaly changes as well, or decluttering, let's call it, on the RuneScape Discord. So go in there, share your feelings, and we will be monitoring them. Raven.
Hello.
We were talking a while back, probably about this time last month, we released the player-owned farm changes. Not released, the blog for it, sorry.
Yes.
Do we have any update on that at all?
We were hoping to have an update to be able to roll out this week, but it's not quite landed. We're not willing to discuss anything in detail until we've got everything signed off and agreed to. Unfortunately, as we've discovered, various people apparently have the plague.
Yep.
And so we're unable to get all that signed off. We're hoping to be able to bring it to everyone soon. We've made some changes to the initial plan. It is not quite... so you can largely discard most of what we said previously. We've taken feedback from the players on board. We've looked at where the key issues are based on player feedback, and we've adjusted. There will still be enough because we know it needs it, but we've also adjusted kind of what we're looking at and things we're after. Many of the things that were really frustrating, we've changed quite dramatically. Like the food is one that was brought up quite a lot as a sort of problem thing of like it's too expensive to feed animals and kind of frustration point. So we've looked at that and we've adjusted. We have increased the amount of food needed, but it's only really a minor change and it shouldn't really affect how people actually play the farm. It's just to adjust things a little bit to make it so the farm isn't just completely free XP for no effort. Yeah. So we've made some changes. I think people should like it. We've been extensively playtesting it. We've had a group of people who've been playing it as players play it, so logging in, every day over every sort of a long period of time and checking how their farms grow and what they've done with the animals. And it's come on well. The feedback has been very positive. It should still maintain a lot of what made farming special and feel good, but reduce some of the trouble, let's call it, that some of the things caused the game previously. So it should be. It should fit more in line with what the community is looking for in terms of nerfs. So we've taken everyone's feedback on board quite heavily. But I can't talk any specifics yet because people are dying of plague.
So there is a question from the chat, and I think you've kind of touched on it / half answered it. Is it just an XP nerf, or nerf breeding rates and selling prices for beans and stuff as well? I know you can't go into too much detail.
I don't want to go into huge detail. We're not adjusting selling prices. I don't think we ever were adjusting selling prices. We've made some tweaks with breeding, but it's not quite what it was before. It should be aligned quite nicely. It'll still feel fairly positive, but we are making some reductions to how many animals are in the game because there's just too many of them. But it shouldn't feel too frustrating. We're also adding in some, while we're doing some nerfs, we're adding in some buffs that maybe weren't considered before as well. So basically the goal of what we're doing, and again I can't talk in huge amounts of detail, is to change it from being free XP for no effort into being XP for some effort, but still maintaining what farm is. It's really hard to vaguely answer the question without specifics. Yeah. But yeah, we're hoping to roll out the specific details soon. Okay. TM. Yeah, I was going to say, bear in mind that there are a lot of people that are either on holiday or off sick this week, so we'd love to get it to you soon, but as I say, there are a few things that are potentially might delay that a little bit. We need to make sure it's all agreed, make sure everyone's happy with rolling out, because we don't want to roll out stuff and change it again, because when we put the initial proposed ideas to players, were taking it as gospel. When of course the whole point was to get player feedback, which we did, thank you guys. But we want to make sure when we're rolling this out, we're giving the changes. So there's no confusion, there's no frustration. We can just see what it is, and players can look at it and plan, and but we can't do that yet. Because I think everybody was feeling that player and farms was overly generous,
And,
yes.
I think that there was a call to make it more balanced with everything else that was going on.
Oh, I mean, absolutely, yeah.
And I think, as I say, when we launched the initial blog, I think that there was probably more of a maybe not as much consideration for, say, Ironman as perhaps we could have done, or...
Ish. I think the main thing we did is what we launched in a blog was like the hardest of the hardest of POFs, because we wanted to go in hard, so we could see where the problems were. Because if we went in hard and everyone, yep, this is great, then we've managed to reach that sweet spot. But more likely, we were going to be pulling back some of those changes, because it's much nicer to be able to say, oh, it was going to be this, but we'll pull it back and make it this instead. So we've made a bunch of those changes. We've taken into account Ironman, but I'll be honest, we've not planned around Ironman.
No.
Ironman is a game mode where you deliberately limit yourself, and therefore you are deliberately limited. So we're not making that the focus. Ironman can do everything. They can engage with the farm completely, they can complete the farm, and they can do all the stuff related to it. Some of it might take longer, but it's still available to them.
Cool. Okay. So I'm just getting one that's written onto the iPad right now. So I'm going to wait till. Okay. So question was, what is the ETA on these changes? Again, we've kind of addressed that and said.
Yeah, we want to roll out the changes soon.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than having it hanging over heads for everyone. We'd like to get the changes done soon. We've been the problem with player and farmers in particular is it takes a while implementing changes, because of course it's a long-term piece of content, and to properly test it and to properly get the right feel for it, it takes a long
makes
amount of time.
Complete sense.
But we're hoping to roll out the proposed changes, i.e. what they are, soon, ideally in the next couple of weeks. And then we'll roll out the actual changes relatively soon to that.
Cool. Okay. Let's move away from player-owned farms. Let's talk some more about some sort of general questions. Bandos, I think it's probably Bandos2 on Twitter, I believe, has asked, where do we go from Anachronia content-wise? Will you be focusing on a quest or two? Continue with the Birththought revamp? I think that's something slightly different. / releasing a new boss.
Oh, there's loads of ways.
That's a lot of that's quite a meaty question.
That's a very open question. Obviously, we can't give out specifics at this stage. Also, we here are not kings of the release schedule. We can't determine completely what things are going to be. We suggest and we manipulate, but we don't necessarily outright state. But we've got a load of cool content in the works. Much of it will be revealed at RuneFest.
Yeah, we did joke before the stream that there might be a few of that response coming up, didn't we? So, I think it's a big landmass. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, it's something that's definitely going to be expanded on Anachronia. Obviously, we're going to be continuing the storyline, but we've got loads of content around as well, I suppose, is a decent way of putting it. Not everything is going to be all in one place. It's kind of following on a theme. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Are there any plans in the next few months to continue or finish some of the older quest lines? And this is from D-Animate RS. I'm really enjoying the new story, but there seems to be a bunch of unfinished plots hanging around that I think Lorehounds would love to see some closure on. And I've got 2 Lorehounds. Oh no, in fact, probably 3 Lorehounds on the sofa. So
that's 2 Lorehounds and someone doesn't care. But it's an interesting one, the old unfinished storylines. Partially because a good number of them actually people don't care that much. We've rolled the survey out several times, we've asked players several times, and there are unfinished storylines that always score kind of
Gnome ones.
Gnome's a good example.
Elemental Workshop.
Elemental Workshop.
There are a few very vocal advocates, and nobody else really wants it.
I would love to work on Elemental Workshop quest.
There are a number of us here who would love to do some of those and love to finish off the storylines. But we also kind of have to focus on what is right for the game. And it's not necessarily the old storylines, because a relatively niche number of players have done them as well. So it's not to say they're completely abandoned, but we've got nothing planned for them in the next few months, let's say.
And again, we have the survey as well, which again, if you feel really passionately about it, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the survey that's coming out later this week. That's all I can say on that one. How is the bank beta progressing? Any news of some sort that will prevent it from coming next month? That's a bit of a slightly negative slant on the question. Any news on the bank rework?
I don't have any more insights than players do on that one, I'm afraid.
I can probably.
As far as I know, it's on course to release on its intended release date.
Release it in September, but obviously if we hit like a major bug, we have to push it back.
Yeah, I think that, again, there'll be slightly more information in the month ahead. I've seen the month ahead script, and I think we do address the bank, the blank improvements project on it. So
there's been no screaming and nothing on fire, so I'm generally assuming things are good.
Yeah, that's generally the way it goes at Jagex, isn't it? So, okay. And another kind of mobile question: when can we, from Metal Havoc on Reddit, when can we expect to see more slots open for mobile?
So, unfortunately, I've been asked to not say anything about mobile, which is slightly awkward since I work on mobile.
Mystery.
But so yes, there's a communication strategy in place. Various people are planning to do things in the future. There's marketing doing their thing and so on, so that there's a coordinated plan. Their plan will be executed. Nothing's really affecting that plan. We're hitting our deadlines and everything's going fine, but unfortunately I can't go into any sort of specifics.
There will be more slots that open for mobile.
Yeah, soon TM. That's what I can give you.
Will it be possible to add more savable presets for max or complicates?
Maybe.
Again, I didn't work on that, unfortunately. The closest I got to was doing some preliminary design on Complicates before I moved teams to mobile. So I'm not all that familiar with how they implemented the cosmetic overrides for them, but in theory...
I mean, what that question is very sort of vaguely worded. Will it be possible?
Are you
Maybe.
doing? Yeah.
Are we doing? There's no current plans to. There's no current plans necessarily in the immediate near future. But if it's something that people really want, then let us know. It might be something we'll look at.
I know with the comp and the Maxcape project, I think we were going to leave it for a little bit before doing anything to them, and then we were perhaps going to pick it up again in the future if we felt like we needed to. That was my understanding anyway. So, okay, this is from Lurdsterry Water on Reddit. Apologies if I get any of your names wrong. It's quite difficult to understand what some of these are. Any more? Okay, this is again kind of a related question, but any more news on adding comp or trim requirements, mainly from old content that perhaps didn't get it previously?
I don't have any news on that. It's nothing that my team's working on. Are you aware of anything like that?
No, afraid not.
It's not to say it won't happen. Like we're definitely looking at adding more things to comp and trim as goes along, particularly based on player feedback. So my general advice would be let us know. Forums, Reddit, Twitter, Discord. Let us know. We'll look at it.
Yeah. There's certainly a fair few there that I would, again, love to implement myself. Like when I was doing my Gobi reputation, for example, would have been very handy to have that on there for additional tracking. And the amount of work involved is fairly low, but it's a matter of people being assigned to working on those sorts of things, and we don't control what projects we work on, unfortunately. So it's up to someone else to prioritise that. Yeah,
it's worth being aware that there is, whilst we are a relatively sizable one, there are only limited amount of devs and limited amount of QA, which is therefore a limited amount of things that we can work on. So everything suggested we will look at, but we've got to prioritise where things sit in all of that. And we'll work on specific things as well. Like I'm part of the episodic team, so I work on like game content, not necessarily sort of ninja fixes or anything like that. So yeah, these things are all considered, and the more people want them, the more, if you let us know, the more likely it is to be pushed in priority. But yeah, we can't just do everything, unfortunately.
I'd love to be able to show the players our kind of backlog of things that we've got on there. For obvious reasons, that's not going to be something that we're able to do, at least in the short term. But I know that I've been speaking actually to a couple of members of the RuneScape team, and we do want to be more kind of transparent with what's on the backlog and how we can perhaps be a little bit more forthcoming with the way that we approach those kinds of things. Because, as I say, we do Q&As every week. There are questions that come up every week. That'd be really handy to be able to say, hey, look, there's a page on our website that will tell you all the latest information on that particular change, and that will be a lot better way of doing it. So we are aware that could be something that we would like to do more moving forward. But as I say, it's a work in progress at the moment. Oh, I've just clicked something which is not good. Are there plans to add the first? Oh, this is from GHFHFHHHFG9. I love how I needed to put a 9 at the end of that. Or she. Are there plans to add the first 2 bosses from Elite Dungeons as boss pets as well? Because they would really like to have Astalan as a pet.
Would we like to? Yes. Are we necessarily going to? No. Again, this comes down to the resources and how we can spend them. We have very limited amounts of art resources at the moment, and they are all locked into some very, very cool things. So pets, whilst awesome, are also quite expensive and time consuming. It's like, do we want to do a single pet or all of this stuff? And so that's kind of the choice that's being made, which is like, well, that's cool, but all of this stuff I think is the priority at the moment.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Question from Turbulent Bonus. Okay, good names this week. Good names. Any chance of reducing or removing the combat requirement for Slayer Masters like we did for Smoking Kills?
Any chance? Technically?
Yeah.
Is this something we're likely to do? No.
Not a priority at this point.
No, very much not.
No. Okay. Any update on when this Captain Kirk RS? Any update? Again, solid names, guys. Well done this week. Any update on when the Elite T92 armor's degrade costs are getting reduced?
Oh, I've got no idea.
Ryan worked on it.
Yeah.
Is it in QA?
I think so.
I don't know.
I know work has been done.
Yeah.
Despite sitting right next to Ryan, I don't know a huge amount about when or what has been done. It's been looked at.
Let's see if we can find an answer for that for after the stream. Let's see if we can find that, and we'll put it on the TLDR on Reddit if we can find the response. So I'll send that out to Orion to respond back to when we've got the tier. Thank you in advance, Susie or Rubik. From 5X. What happened to the Dagonoth King boss pet graphical update? It was polled 8 months ago and we never heard about the results.
That's not one I know anything about. Do you know anything
I don't know anything about that either, I'm afraid. I think it's another one of those ones where awaiting the appropriate assets.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
And the artist's time available to do it.
Yeah. The people who have the answer to that are unfortunately dying of plague, so sorry.
Yeah, the problem is you can't just take the actual boss monster and just shrink it. It doesn't work.
You know you can't. It's you feel like you should, but it doesn't work like that because of course they animate weirdly and it looks nightmarish as they walk along. As someone who's just been testing this on something, it doesn't look good.
Okay, this is from Twitter, from Simon Silvers on Twitter. We can see that free-to-play has expanded. I don't know if it's planned to be expanded. Do you think it will expand more? That might be a question for you, Stu.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked on some free-to-play expansions in the past, making the Player Red House available to free-to-play, making Fletching free-to-play, expanding more the free-to-play world. So again, at the time, I was allowed some project time to work on that, and I did that until someone above me says, yes, we want you to do this. Here's some time allocated to do it. I get and do it. Unfortunately, I don't know of anything of that nature currently being planned.
Yeah, I mean, bearing in mind with kind of mobile looming as well, it seems like it should be something that should come hand in hand with that. So I would say perhaps if we're looking to do those kinds of expansions, then it would probably likely come with a big mobile update. That seems to make sense to me. Seem to make sense to you?
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Free-to-play is always something that we're looking at and discussing. It's not anything that's just sort of ignored and forgotten about.
Yeah.
There are some interesting technical discussions that are going on that I obviously can't talk about, but it's definitely something that is being constantly considered and looked at, and whether we want to expand it or do other interesting things with it.
Cool. Okay. There was a question, I'd seen a question on Reddit about us being able to give players the information that they need through say the website and the forums, rather than just through live streams and through Twitter and those different platforms. And I wanted to address that one because I think it's difficult with the sigils update. That's probably something that perhaps could have been highlighted a little bit more prior to launch. However, I do think that we have these live streams for a reason, and that's to let you guys know what's going on in a way that's slightly different to, say, us writing out a dev blog or us putting it down in a table on a news post. And what I would encourage people to do is, if they have the time and the scope available to, obviously there's some great TLDWs as well, or TLDRs that are produced by a lot of the guys on Reddit, for instance. We have a lot of different communications platforms, and sometimes it can be difficult to put the same message on each of them all the time. I do agree that we could perhaps use our official channels more, and I've said this to my team, and that we can use the website and the forums as kind of a launch pad to be able to then share it elsewhere. So we will be doing that a little bit more. But I will say that these live streams are a really good source of being able to get information that perhaps is very difficult to disseminate elsewhere. We have the VODs on YouTube as well, so if anybody is needing a little bit more information, let us know how we can make those more digestible for you as well. As I say, the TLDWs or TLDRs do a really good job of dissecting all of the different bits and pieces, but if there is anything that comes out that is a particular bugbear for how you receive those communications, then let me know. I'm JagXJD on Twitter, and I'll try and help moving forward. And we've had this question kind of in a different phase before, but from the chat, is Virago Quest coming soon?
Again, it's not anything we've immediately got planned. It's been, I think, written and fully designed.
Yes, I believe Mod Osborne put together a design document for it.
Yeah,
it's one of those ones I believe is like waiting in the backlog for production in the future when resources are available.
Osborne, Ryan, maybe Rahman. They've worked on this, so it's something that's got like the design headspace for it and some writing for it, but it's not something we've immediately allocated the resource to.
Because that was a Game Jam project, wasn't it? Originally, I think, wasn't it?
Sort of.
Yeah, in a different guise.
I think it was a personal project that someone did outside of work hours and then did more of it in the games.
Yeah.
But it's not something we've immediately got plans to launch by the end of this year or anything.
Again, survey, guys. Survey.
Well, yeah, survey. Use the survey.
Tell us if you want it.
If you desperately want it, vote for it in the survey.
Yeah. We're getting a lot of questions about new quest soon, New quest soon. I'm going to say to that, RuneFest.
Yeah. Go to RuneFest.
Yeah.
Watch RuneFest.
Yeah.
RuneFest.
Okay. And then from Reddit, Sea Shanty 2 is the annual survey coming soon. The plan is Friday. And we'll let you know if there are any changes to that. It might be that we link it intrinsically to the month ahead, and as we mentioned, there might be a couple of hiccups with that, with people being ill. So we will endeavour to let you know as soon as possible if that is going to be next week, for instance, rather than this week. Question about TAP, which is interesting. So Nearly Dead Noob, will TAP be coming back when mobile is (nearly) finished?
TAP's a bit of a weird one. It's not something that any of us here can directly answer. Certainly there's scope and provisos for people to be able to do stuff in their free time, but again, the thing with TAP is TAP allocated certain resources amount of time, and I know there are plans. There's definitely, I've seen all manner of presentations and documents and things, so it's definitely a thing that is being looked at, but I don't necessarily know if it's going to be under the same umbrella or the same name. There's some very nice, I mean, from our point of view of people who get to work on these personal projects, there's some very nice things looking like they're planned out for it. I don't know anything will happen, but we're aware that one of the strengths we have at JagX is the creativity of our staff, of the people working here, and so we're definitely looking to be able to tap that in different ways. If that
Excuse
makes sense.
the pun.
Yeah.
No, I know that there's been a few kind of workshops internally as well that we've looked to be doing about how we can better use TAP. So watch this space, I think, is the answer to that question. I'm just thinking if I've managed to miss any questions from the stuff that we've seen so far. I don't think there is. What I did want to do, there was something that I wanted to show. If you have any questions, please chuck them in the chat, and then we will, Mod Niku who's watching, will chuck them onto this screen here. What I did want to do, whilst we perhaps wait for some more questions, is to showcase a little bit of player art, because we don't normally do that kind of thing, and I want to be able to shout out some of the people who have done some amazing stuff. And we recently ran our player gallery for the Land Out of Time, and I wanted to show the people who had done exceptionally well and been, I think we've got the first place and the runners up here that we can show now if Mod John is ready. There we go. So this is Maverick 882, and again, please feel free to, guys on the sofa, please feel free to react with oohs and ahs.
Ooh.
That is very pretty, very detailed.
I like the little detail of the pterosaur in the background there.
Then we have Zcore. That's a very good one, I like that one. We have Awoa Guy.
Oh dear. Everyone looks very happy there. I don't like it. Oh, nice.
And this was the winner. So this was Mage Nixie, who is nominated for Golden Gnome as well for one of her sculptures that she's done.
It's the terrified Zygamite in the bottom right. I love it.
I think that looks stunning, personally.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah. Well done, Mage Nixie, you won it. And we'd like to do more of these kinds of player galleries. We like to focus them around kind of big content updates. But if you have suggestions for themes for player galleries that we can do, I'd love to hear them, because we want to try and do as many of these as possible. We love to seeing your art, seeing your creativity. So if you have any ideas for themes that we could do to make it more of a monthly thing rather than a perhaps slightly less frequent thing, then let me know again on JagXJD at Twitter. It'd be great to see that. What's your favourite Dawn?
Definitely the last one.
Yeah?
Yep.
Stu?
Sorry, you have to go with the last one too. That's really beautiful.
It's just the terrified Zygamite, I'm sorry.
Yeah?
It's completely sold it for me.
Seems like we've got a worthy winner then. No. So
There's more?
Oh, there are more. Okay, let's go for more then. Okay, we have got more.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that is cool.
That is cool.
And annoyingly, I bet the watermark is in the bottom right-hand corner, so I can't remember which one this is. There we go, Willoway, who again, I believe has been nominated for a Golden Gnome as well.
That is a beautiful style they've got going there.
I love that. I think that's amazing. We have Enkoro, who again is fantastic.
Wow, we have such a talented artist in our community.
There's so much detail in all of that.
And we have Tinswag here. Again, too much happiness for Raven, I think.
Yeah,
It feels a little bit Wizard of Oz-esque.
Is Thok doing the dance? Oh no, he's
RuneScape
just
dance,
smashed his way through the log right again.
Oh yeah, Thok
He's kicked
smash.
his way through the log. I like that.
I mean, I bet you're glad you don't have Shawnee talking about Thok in this one. So, and then this is Well Miller.
Oh, I like that one.
I also like the spelling of today as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying not to look at that.
Today.
That's really good. I like that. And then this is
it's 8-bit.
Milk. I love a bit of 8-bit art. I think that's great.
Oh, this is Zygamite, the one right there as well. Seems to be the place for Zygamite, to the bottom right of the screen.
And then, and I can't read what that one is. Can you read that one out, John? Yeah, okay, Barney Riven, and then you can see the DeviantArt link on there. If you like that art, then go and check them out on DeviantArt. And that's it. So I want to try and do a little bit more of those. I want to showcase some of the amazing work the community do a little bit more. I'll be instructing Shawnee that we need to do this kind of thing more often because I very much enjoy it. So I don't know if anybody remembers Good Morning Gillinor that we did a while back.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I love doing it, but it was so stressful to try and get sorted. Yeah, that was about 2 or 3 years ago now. And John, myself, sitting on the sofas. Was it?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. I'd love to do it again. Just finding the time to do it would be great. But I'd love to get a little bit more community stuff in this as well, because I think, as I say, showcasing what you guys are up to is really important, and being able to champion everybody who's doing some really good stuff is great. Okay, a couple more questions that have been added since. Are there any, this is AAA aka Bob. So AA, aka Bob, I think.
Bob for short.
Bob for short. Let's call him Bob. Any plans to make minigames instanced?
Not from my lot. I think it's something that's been considered, but isn't a massively high priority. I mean, minigames just don't resonate that well with the player base. Like, we can instance them and get more people together, but even then, it's not the best use of our resources and time, as far as we can tell. There are other parts of the game that players are more interested in.
Okay.
So we're not going to abandon it, but it's not an immediate plan.
It'd be helpful to get a targeted response there. Which particular minigames are the ones that
Yeah, that's a good point.
Why those ones, so that we can focus on those that are going to get the benefit you're looking for? Because broadly, there are just so many minigames, each one is bespoke.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. If you could let us know, that would be great.
And what's the reason behind it? Is because you want them to all go to one shard where all players are on the same server, like how Big Chin Chomper works, or is it because you want to just play this minigame on your own? What's the reason behind why you want it instanced?
It's also worth asking, like, why you want that sort of thing. Is it because you really enjoy the game, like specifically that, or is it because you want to grind away and get the reward? Like, it's worth knowing that, because we might be able to address one without addressing the other. If it's just the reward, for example, then we might be able to look at things to do with alternative ways of acquiring that. But if it's you genuinely love the gameplay and want to see more people in it, then that's something that we can look at, see if we can maybe build on that and get more people looking at the methods.
Dawn, if you could instance any minigame, which would it be?
Castle Wars?
Okay. Stu?
I think it makes most sense.
Trying to think of any that I still play that aren't really instanced in some way, because I generally avoid the ones that involve other players. No, struggling. Again, I would need some clarity as to what people are needing it to be instanced for. Is it because you want to have lots of players in the same world, or is it because you're wanting a solo experience? I mean, off the top of my head, Fish Flingers would work as well. That works very well on a shard, because that needs a certain mass population in order to function, because people play that game in order to share their hints and so forth. And it's not really a viable game otherwise. So I think it's a case of we either shard it or we remove it.
Okay, cool. And then from Epidemic 1992 in the chat, will there be more action bars added and maybe one or two active ones we can have open with the new sigil changes?
Maybe. I don't think it's something we've got immediately planned.
Not that I know of, sorry.
No.
It's not completely off the table, it's just, maybe. That's all I've got.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, I think that's all of the questions that I have. I know that there's a video as well that we want to show just at the end, which is a RuneFest video. So this is your last chance to get questions in on the chat. In the meantime...
There's someone asking about weapon diversity. There will be more information about weapon diversity soon.
Yeah. Thank you for everybody who's been playing in the beta. Thank you for everybody who has been giving us all the feedback as well. We want to give you a little bit more information soon. Chunks of Plum. Have we put the calendar on the table to combat phishing streams? A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's always nice to know the date, but it is one of the things that we are doing to try and combat Twitch phishing streams. We'd love to be able to get like a moving one as well, so you couldn't just Photoshop it out, but we think that will probably be a little bit too distracting. But we have got an internal thing that we are doing at the moment to try and limit the amount of phishing streams that are appearing. Hopefully you've seen a positive change over the last couple of months or so. Again, please report them if you see them. Spread the word that they're around and that they are a possibility. Again, I think probably the issue that we have is that players who are perhaps coming back to RuneScape probably aren't quite as au fait with everything that's going on and as ingrained in the community as everybody else. Come back and that might be one of the first things they see, which obviously isn't a great thing anyway. So we're trying to do some stuff internally. Twitch also need to be able to help us out as well a little bit. We are speaking to them about what we can do. But yeah, that's kind of where we are with that. See if there's picking anything else up from the chat.
Any plans for new Metallic Dragons survey?
Survey, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
There's something there about when combat pet modifiers or stats might be released. I think that was something that Timbo was looking at vaguely, but I have no idea when it would be.
We'll try and gather some of these questions for perhaps a future week when we have either a Timbo or a Mod Osborne or someone who is probably a little bit more au fait with those kinds of updates. Obviously, we're a very big team, RuneScape, so it's quite difficult to get somebody on who's going to cover every single question that gets asked. So iOS, RuneScape Mobile, again, more information will be in the next few weeks, I think. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything from the chat. Hopefully, we've been able to answer as many questions as we have, as we've been able to get. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me today. Thank you guys for watching at home. How was your first experience, Dawn?
I'm still a bit nervous, but yeah.
That's okay.
I think you did a good job. I think you're a natural. You've done a few bits for the German community before.
I did a Facebook live stream in February.
Yeah. So you're not a complete noob to it. So it's fine. You did a good job. If just a quick reminder of some of the things we talked about at the start. The survey is coming on Friday. The September raffle kicks off on Sunday. The RuneFest schedule we're aiming to publish next week, so keep an eye out for that. Twitch Prime is still live, so keep an eye out on. Click the crown on the top of your window if you haven't already. I think it's probably. Oh no, wrong arm. That way. It's on a mirror, so I was going with the wrong hand. You can get 200 rune coins, 15 keys, and 40 hearts of ice just for being a Twitch Prime member. And when you get that Twitch Prime free sub, then please use it for one of our amazing RuneScape live streamers. I think that's pretty much it. We've got a video to finish on. So I believe this is on the RuneScape YouTube channel, but this is what kind of thing you can expect from RuneFest. So thanks very much everyone for watching. Thanks for everyone on the sofa. Shawnee will be back next week. I'm going to emulate him. Thanks very much and have a good one.
Just take care and have a
Sorry, take care and have a good one. Sorry, job. Shawnee. I had one job.
Morning.
Hello, Sailor. How are you doing?
Doing good. Can you pass the milk? That's all right, mate. I'm doing great. How'd the Lands Out of Time release go?
Well, the team absolutely nailed it, didn't they? And Song of the Elves, how's that going, dude?
Song of the Elves coming along great. Team's doing a great job. It's nearly out. It's going to be the biggest update yet.
Morning, Shawnee. Morning.
I think somebody's been up playing RuneScape all night.
No, I've been up all night planning for the RuneFest meeting this morning. I'll see you guys in there.
Mod Mohawk, thank God it's you. Right, we've got plans for RuneFest. They're all good, but I kind of want to hear yours.
Oh, well, I've actually prepared a little something.
Marvellous.
So, I was thinking that maybe we could recreate the Land Out of Time.
Awesome.
It'll be complete with giant dinosaurs and plants that try to eat you when you get too close to them, that kind of thing.
Excellent, keep going.
We could have these dramatic areas of the island that players can explore in like bigger gaming areas so that the players can get hands on all of our content.
Oh, I love it.
And then, I'm not going to lie, I kind of miss the skill chip activities. So if we can get those back in, that would be amazing. And then I was thinking maybe some more panels, some more talks, more JMod meetups, and we should definitely announce something really big on stage, like, well, you know what I'm talking about. And then what about bigger art areas so that players can meet the creative teams as well? Yeah?
Okay.
Oh, and then I was thinking, right, it's the best idea. We should have an area for players to get hands-on with the latest build of RuneScape Mobile. Yeah? And an Oscars-style award ceremony the evening before for Golden Gnomes.
Oh, yeah.
And the best idea ever, we should have golf.
Okay, Mobile, Gnomes, wait, golf?
Yeah, why not?
Mod Mohawk, Papa Dave, how
you, darling?
mate? You ready for this meeting?
Absolutely.
Any ideas?
Of course I do. RuneFest, the highlight of the year. I wouldn't just make it up as I go along.
Could you imagine?
Oh, Shawnee, which room is the RuneFest meeting in?
Sorry guys, it's tomorrow.